Hello, you guys. Welcome to our info session. We try and do these really regularly, but we also try to shake it up a little bit so we can make it more exciting for everyone who comes to watch. Because I think sometimes people come a couple times just to get a feel for what it's like to be a BODi partner, get some information. And that's all this is today, is just to give you some information about what this really is, what it's done for our life, and what it might potentially do for yours. So today, to shake it up a little bit, I thought I would interview one of my partners and just so she can give us the rundown of how this whole thing panned out for her, why she joined, what's happened to her life ever since. So I don't know if you guys know, but both Megan and I have podcasts. So this is how the first little bit of this is going to feel, almost like a podcast interview. I'm going to talk to Megan and she's going to answer my questions. And it's going to give you like a real life glimpse of, because she doesn't know my questions, by the way. In fact, I hardly know my questions. I have a few written down, but it's just going to be a conversation. So you guys can really feel like the truth and the authenticity of, and also maybe vulnerability of what this really looked like for her for the last 8-9 years. So if you don't know me, my name is Michelle File. I should have started with this. My name is Michelle File, and I've been with BODi for almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years in May. And 10 years ago, I owned a salon and spa, had absolutely no intention of changing my career, but BODi came into my life. The BODi coaching opportunity, which we now call partner, came into my life, and very quickly, I decided to lean into it. And within 2.5 years, I was able to sort of get out of a career that just was not fulfilling me anymore. And now I do this part-time or full-time. I do this full-time. This is my full-time gig. But I don't want to go on and on about my story. I really want to talk to Megan today. So Megan, first of all, maybe just share like how long you've been a partner and what your first sort of inkling or desire was. Like how did you come to become a partner or a coach?
Okay, well, this is exciting, and I'm kind of nervous because I really don't know any questions you're going to ask, but I'm an open book. So I signed up in 2015. So I guess we're coming up to like 9 years actually. And so truthfully, this very accidentally fell onto my lap. And I think that a lot of partners on our team would say the same thing. I, at the time, was a mom with three little kids. I was solo parenting because my husband was working out west on the pipeline. And I was working I was working full time as a registered nurse as well, but I was not taking very good care of myself. And I felt really run down. And instead of just sort of blaming that on being a mom, I decided like, well, there's got to be something I can do that would make me feel better. And Michelle was on Facebook, and I remember she shared a little bit of information about Shakeology. And all she said was that that shake, at one shake a day, was giving her all of the nutrients and vitamins her body needed. And I messaged her and I was like, where can I get that? That's what I need. Like to me, I was like, there's my solution. I'm a busy mom. I don't have a whole lot of time to do anything else, but I can make a shake once a day. And she signed me up and I got started on Shakeology. And that alone, just drinking Shakeology once a day, really was where it all started for me. And within a few weeks, I felt so much better, whether it was, just the like knowing that I was doing something for myself, which was leading me to feel like more confident and have more energy, but also like my digestive system was better. I wasn't having as many cravings. My bloating was disappearing. And I just felt better, which made me start to make different choices in my day, right? So instead of just eating the grilled cheese crust and the goldfish crackers that my toddler was eating, I made myself a healthy lunch. So it was just like these little micro shifts that started to happen. And I remember one day messaging Michelle saying to her, why isn't everyone doing this? Like, this is so simple. I'm eating healthier. I've started to work out a little bit during nap time, and I'm drinking a shake once a day. And just doing those things, I feel so much better. Like, why isn't everyone doing this? And so it became a passion. Before I even realized this was a business, I had this passion to like tell other people about this. I wanted to help other people get these systems in place for themselves because it had just totally changed how I felt. So before I even knew it was a business, I wanted to be part of it.
Cool. Okay. I'm glad you took a pause because I know there's lots more to even that piece of the story, but I wanted to just point out a couple things. First off, 10 years ago, I was scared shitless to, excuse my language if any kids are around, but I was so nervous to post on social media. Like you guys, it's not like I came into this business thinking, oh, yeah, I'm just going to post my life on social media. This is so cool. I was so nervous, but Beachbody, the products, the programs had helped me so much. My sort of desire to help other people was stronger than my fear of posting. So I still would get super nervous posting about something like Shakeology. I had the same fears as you probably do right now. I don't want to sound salesy. I don't want people to think I'm selling them things. But my desire to say, oh my gosh, you guys, this is so good was so much stronger. So I pushed through those fears every once in a while. It was probably really lucky that Megan saw that post because I did lots of other things. I would share recipes or I would share a quote. And then when I would get brave enough, I would share about this product that was helping me so much. So I want to point that out because it wasn't like I was just posting about Shakeology every single day on my social media, not at all. But I was feeling like, okay, once or twice a week, I need to tell people about this. The other thing I wanted you to hear out of Megan's story is I didn't approach her. So me sharing that consistently, being brave enough to share like what I loved about it. And that is what I loved about it. I knew at that point in my life, I was not getting enough nutrients and vitamins in my diet. Like I knew I wasn't. It was such a big drastic switch when I started using Shakeology when I first started coaching because I'd been depleting my body so much that once I started adding that into it, I felt drastically different. So by me sharing just that simple story, I did have people reaching out to me, but I consistently shared it. I consistently got brave enough a couple times a week to talk about it. So I just wanted to point those things out because I think they're important. I think those are fears that people commonly have when they think about becoming a partner. I'm going to be salesy. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. I don't know how to do social media. Neither did I, but I did kind of gather up some courage every once in a while because I believed in them. And this is what happened. And we're going to get more into this as we keep going, but this is like my top partner on my team, creating a lot of momentum within our community. And that happened because I was brave enough to share it. So, um, I just wanted to point those things out. I'm going to like point little things out as we go through your story, Megan, just to make it clear to people how this can really kind of unravel for people. So you're loving Shakeology. I know that you ended up purchasing a package that included the workouts because that just makes sense when you join. It's the cheapest way to join. Funny enough, the cheapest way to join us is just to get everything. And we do that on purpose because we want people to have the total solution. So I can remember saying, I think you would like PIO. That might be a good program for you to start with. And you started. So when you've already within a couple weeks started thinking like, why doesn't everyone do this? And she's not lying. She did message me and say that. And she still says that line all the time. Why are not everybody doing this? So what finally got you excited about actually sharing it with other people?
Well, I think that um, I just remember starting to like, as like I would go through my day because I felt like all of a sudden I went from somebody who was like living this kind of mundane, like, I mean, if you've got young kids, it's like Groundhog Day all over again every day. And it's like, oh my gosh, like you go for walks to put in time before naps. Like it seems so redundant every day. But all of a sudden, I joined BODi and I started taking care of myself a little bit. And I felt like a little taller. I felt just a little happier. And I was finding that I was starting to like actually think in content. I was starting to like, I would be making lunch and I would be like creating a Facebook post in my head about how things have changed so like wildly from 2 weeks ago to now, how I'm eating my food. So I was like already starting to think the way partners were thinking and sort of doing the actions because it felt really fun to share. It felt really good to be able to be someone who could give motivation and inspiration and help someone out, even if it was just like, swap out this peanut butter for this peanut butter. Like it felt really fun. But when things started to really click, like, wait a second, is this actually something that could change my life? I saw a post from Michelle, and she had, again, it was a post. Everything that changed my life came from a post. But Michelle put up this post on social media of a picture of a Costco play set, those big giant swing sets with the tree house and the slide. And she put a picture up saying, something very simple, but it was like, thanks, Beachbody. And I sat there looking at that post, trying to figure out, okay, how? And in my head, I'm like, she must have, she must have met someone in Beachbody who sold her this or who gave it to her. Like, because there's no way she made enough money through Beachbody to buy this. Like, I know how much those things cost. There's no way she's made enough money to buy that. So that was like my thought. I was like, no way. So she must have just had like a connection from Beachbody who helped her get this, or she bought it on a buy and sell through a Beachbody member. That was literally my thoughts. Well, no, as it turned out, Michelle actually had earned enough to buy this play set. And that was the moment of like, oh, wait, I could actually make money doing this. And then, of course, as I started looking into it and learning a little bit about the compensation plan and even starting to follow other coaches in the network, I was blown away by the success stories and saw normal women completely changing their lives with the income that they could earn from this business opportunity.
Yeah, we have often shared that little post that I created, which again, you guys, I would have been nervous about. I would have been nervous about sharing that. But I was starting to see even myself. I was only about a year into this business myself, still working my salon and spa, really not necessarily knowing what could happen with this, but having some pretty big dreams. I did know at that point I would love for this to replace my income that I'm making at the salon and spa. And how do I do that? Well, I have to share it more. So I would get the courage to share things like that. So I guess I want to point out there that it's not that I was sharing like big, huge numbers of income that, oh my gosh, I'm making six figures and all this stuff. It wasn't that at all. It was just about how this thing that I was doing in the little cracks of my time, because trust me, I was still working very hard at my salon and spa, many, many, many hours a week. And I was fitting this in between that, was able to sort of change things for my family. We wouldn't, the thing about that playhouse for my family, we could afford the playhouse, but what the big thing was for us, we could afford to get Costco to come and put it together. That was the big deal about that playhouse at our house when we bought that for Delaney. It was that, oh, we can also double the price, because that's how much it was, to get them to come and put it together. And that was huge for us. So it's simple things like that that can start happening, that start this sort of momentum that can be built in your business. And that's how these types of businesses can change your life. Now, Megan, you mentioned in the beginning that you were super busy. At the time you began, you had 3 kids and your husband was away for like 6 weeks or more at a time. How, like, what audacity for you to think that you would have time to do this business, and you're working as a nurse, full-time as a nurse. Can you walk us through, like, really, where did you find the time? How did you have time for this type of business?
Yeah, that's a great question. And really by the time shortly after I became a customer, I got pregnant with baby number 4. So I was also pregnant when I really started this business. But for me, it was just, I mean, when you get excited about something, when something is important to you, you find a way to fit it into your day. So I find that when somebody asks me that question of like, well, how many hours a week or how much time in a day is this going to take? I always think, well, you're looking at it the wrong way because it will be something. It's like you don't ask somebody who's pregnant, like, okay, so if I were to have a baby, like how much time are we thinking this is going to take up in my life? Like, no, you want the baby. You're willing to do what it takes to get the baby, right? So I really was willing to do what it took. And trust me, I had no time. I did not have any capacity. I was not the person who should be adding this to their plate, but I was lacking a lot of fulfillment in my own life. And I felt very, very lonely, even though I was surrounded by all of these kids. So for me, it did a few things. It provided me with a lot of like community and friendships and gave me something that had nothing to do with my husband, my children, my career. It was something that was fulfilling for me. So finding the time actually was somewhat easy, but I did have to make some sacrifices. So I was the one who was obsessed with Survivor, The Bachelor, all of those trash TV shows. I lived for 8 p.m. when my kids would be in bed and I could sit on the couch alone with a bowl of ice cream in my pajamas. That was literally the thing that carried me through the day, was like constantly looking how many more hours until I get to sit on the TV and watch reality TV, sit on the couch. That was how I was living my day. So instead of numbing out to reality TV, I started working this business. And I also just found that there was a lot of times during the day that I could work this business. So instead of laying on the couch in the morning with my toddlers, sorry, you can hear my tower guard in the back. It sounds like someone's peeing. So instead of laying on the couch in the morning, drinking coffee and watching like cartoons with my kids, I picked up my phone or sat at my computer and worked this business for half an hour or 15 minutes. Once my baby was born, when I was breastfeeding, I know you're supposed to use all those times to like connect with your baby. Well, I also wanted to use those times to build an income. So I took those 3 a.m. feedings and I was creating content or answering messages. We have time in the day. We just need to make sure we're utilizing it properly. During my 12-hour nursing shifts, I got breaks, as we all hopefully do get breaks in our, 9 to 5. I would, instead sitting in the lounge, gossiping and, complaining about our patients, I brought my laptop in my book bag and I went to the cafeteria and I ate alone and I worked for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long I could. I utilized every moment I had. There was times after a busy 12-hour shift that I would drive home, and before I pulled into my laneway, I would pull into like the arena parking lot or the grocery store parking lot for 10 minutes. And I would do a little bit of work right there quickly before I came home. Because I knew once I got home, I was going to be like all hands on deck. You will find time if this is something that's important to you.
Yeah, totally agree. I always joke that my whole business, like my entire business, was built on my bathroom breaks and my lunch break at the salon, because when you're working as a hairdresser, it's not like you can stop cutting someone's hair and answer a message. So it was very limited periods of time, but I would just make the best of those times. This doesn't have to look like you sitting down at a desk for an hour and doing work. It is not like that in the beginning at all, because you're trying to shuffle a lot of different things as you're building this business. It looks like that for us now, but we're also a decade in and we're able to do this in a different way. Okay. I know you were really scared of social media, Megan, when you started. That was a big, huge fear of yours that we kind of had to waddle through together. Can you kind of share how you did sort of grow this business using social media, even though you were quite nervous about it?
Yeah, so that was the thing that was really holding me back. And it's the reason why I almost didn't do this business. Thank goodness just went and did it, even though I was like pooping my pants a little bit. But what I did is I actually just realized, well, this is my business and I get to do it however I want to do it. And so I wasn't comfortable posting just on Facebook on my own page. I didn't have enough confidence for that yet. So I created a private group on Facebook and invited people to join it. And that's where I shared things. I showed up every day in this private group and talked about my workout. I shared recipes, I shared motivation. I did little challenges in there and would encourage people to invite their friends in it. We would do like workout challenges, plank challenges, clean eating challenges. And I really was able to build that private group like to several thousand people over, a number of years. But that's how I did it. So I want everyone to realize that what you see maybe Michelle or I or Justine doing in our business is not how it has to look like for you. We've done this for a very long time. We've learned a lot. You get to make this work however you want, and we'll help you. We'll meet you where you're at, and whatever feels comfortable for you, we can make this work. There's so many different ways to build this business and to reach people. So I hope that kind of like helps people. And over time, I got much more comfortable about just putting it all out there and I started to not care. I was probably one of the last people to start Instagram because I didn't want to do Instagram and I didn't want to do Instagram stories. So, it took me a while to get up the nerve to do that. And then eventually I did. Well, I still was able to see great success over the years.
Yeah, I think one of the worst things that's happening in our world right now is we're all so ingrained in social media, and all you're seeing are these top like influencers, or maybe you're following a lot of body coaches. I promise you, you're following the top 10% of body coaches. You're not seeing the people that are just beginning and how they're just beginning. So instead of looking at, I'm just going to use myself as an example, not that I think I'm an influencer by any stretch, but if you're looking at how I'm sharing this, I have to share it in a certain way because my business is 10 years old. When I started, it was the same thing. I had a private group, and that's where like the most success of my business was built, in this private group where I did exactly the same as what Megan did. And that still works really well when you're brand new. So don't go looking at these top people from this company or another company and think you have to recreate that. And you're like, what the hell? I could never do that. I don't even know how to take a picture. That's not what you need to do. You not even remotely. And like Megan said, we have such great training within our team that we walk with you. We will show you how to do this in a way that's super comfortable for you. You might come in and like, I am an influencer. I love doing that stuff. And that's amazing. But if you're not, don't let that stop you. Okay, just a couple more questions. We want to keep this kind of not too long today. What is your absolute favorite part of being a partner, Megan? Oh,
Oh, I'm muted. Okay, there's so many things, but I think just to keep it like just really simplistic is it's the accountability to show up for my life, I think is really what it is, because that is the thing that's changed the most, is just having that like skin in the game to keep showing up. Because I know that if I didn't have this, if I wasn't part of this community and I wasn't a body partner, I wouldn't still be doing the work. I would have quit working out. I wouldn't be eating healthy. There's no way I would have been doing personal development and setting goals and thinking about my dreams and desires. So it's that accountability to really show up for your life and go after the life that you really want to be living.
Yes, I'm typing and talking. Should not multitask. Okay, I love that. And I think we would all agree on our team, even if, there's lots of different levels of what people are doing with this business. Literally, some people just want to pay for their products. They've fallen in love with Energize. And they're like, you know what? If I could help a couple people, that would pay for my Energize every month. That's all I want, Michelle. Or some people want it to pay off the credit card or a couple bills that are kind of getting ahead of them. And then there's other people that join our team that are like Megan and I. We truly saw this as something that could change everything. So that's my last question, Megan. I know that you could take half an hour and explain this. Let's try and keep it as short-winded as possible. But how has, in the last 9 years, being a partner changed your life?
Yeah. So in every sense, it has changed my life. I'll just really quickly, without going into detail on these things, but for one, I now work as a nurse because I want to, not because I have to. So I work about 4 shifts a month instead of working full time. And that's really because I still want to be a nurse, but I certainly don't want to be there more than I am. I'm at home with my kids and I get to be that present mom. But I've also learned how to be a better mom because of the tools and resources that we have and the personal development that we have. Our income is at a completely different level now than it was previous to me starting. Um, my husband has left the job that he was in. He was in the union and was not happy. And because he saw me growing and evolving, that gave him a lot of courage to ask himself, what does he want? And he was able to start up his own business. This has saved our marriage. This business opportunity has completely saved our marriage, which has saved our family. So that is just like the biggest thing. The traveling that I've been able to do, there's no way we were going to be a family that got on airplanes and went to 5-star all-inclusive luxury resorts. And now we are, not because we're booking them, but literally because BODi is sending myself and a guest multiple times a year to some pretty epic places. The community, the friendships, all of these people I never would have been able to meet or be surrounded with. And they really have become my closest friends because I finally found people who are like-minded and we have conversations about growth. You know what? Actually, I will share this, Michelle. My kids, we went out for dinner last night, a few of us, and my kids said, like, so what are you guys going to talk about all night? And I said, well, we're going to talk about goals and dreams and vision and our businesses and manifesting and our desires. And they were like, oh, that sounds fun. And I was like, yeah, actually, that does sound fun. It was so funny. But yeah, that really kind of ties it all in.
That sums it up. And it's true. I think it was actually you, Megan, at one of our retreats, maybe last year, that you had just listened to someone reference aligned
Yeah.
friendships. And I actually had that written down on my notes because I had an experience over Christmas that I was talking to some friends who I absolutely love, but I started talking about something and it was like I became like this weirdo in the room. And I'm like, wow, I just can't believe how you do life without not thinking about goals and vision and desires. It's just become such a big part of mine. And I will say, you guys, I didn't think like this 10 years ago. I didn't know anything about this. But as you grow in this community, it's something that we prioritize and it changes everything. I mean, Megan and Justine and I could sit here and do a whole hour on we've lost a parent, we've all lost our dads, and I don't know where I would be without BODi. I don't know where, I can't even imagine what would have happened to my marriage, to my health, to my finances, everything, if I hadn't been in this community. And you might think that's BS, but it is not, like, seriously, like, so much so. Anyways, Megan, this was good. I know I put you on the spot. You can put me on the spot next time. That was so good. You shared just everything that I think people need to hear. It's the honest, raw truth about what this can do for you and how we overcame some of the very normal fears that you might be having about this. So just to kind of wrap things up, we're going to do like a little bit of nuts and bolts. I just want to give you like some information about what is involved with signing up as a partner. So I'm going to share my screen and hopefully it works. Okay, now I just have to find my screens. Oh dear, get out of my way. What are all these things here? Oh goodness. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to pull up my Canva. I thought I had it pulled up for you, but here we go. See, you don't have to be a professional anything to do this. Okay. So I'm actually just going to flip through a lot of these because we've kind of talked about all this just ourselves. But here's what we want to kind of cover just quickly, briefly, how to generate this additional income with a BODi partnership.
Michelle, the screen's black. I don't know if.
Well, dang it. I don't know what is going on with my screens. Okay, we're just gonna have to can this part, Megan. We'll just have to talk about it. Sorry. Am I back?
Yep.
It's not black anymore. Sorry, guys. I do have some really pretty screens or slides. I don't know, something. I think maybe there was an update in Zoom and you can't share your screen without like allowing it or something. But anyways, so basically what those slides said is how do we actually sign up as a partner? So a lot of you might already be with BODi, which is amazing. You can either jump in with a package, you can jump in just with the business fee. So there's just like a $50 fee, I think that's Canadian, maybe 40 American, to jump in, and that actually is your business. That's the fee to start a business, which from a past business owner, that is like ridiculous because what it gives you is all your training. We literally go step by step with this with you. We now have this amazing, beautiful app that walks you through 30 days of starting your business. It gives you prompts for social media. It gives you every piece of information that you would need to know. I often compare starting this business is like starting a course at college or starting a new job. And that's what this is. Of course, it's going to feel like a little overwhelming at the beginning. They all do. But then within a month or 2 months, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got like stressed out about this. Now that I've been consistent with it, I've gone through the training, I know exactly what to do. We as a team community, we're always doing, calls where you can ask questions and you can really get tons of support from all of us, not just the person that you're signing up with. One thing I want you to know for sure is when you join our community, you are getting the support of Megan, Justine, like all the top leaders who have been here for years and years. We really do become one community. Do you have anything else? I honestly can't even remember what was on that slides. I think we pretty much covered them all. Compensation, that's another question kind of people are curious about. There's lots of different ways to earn income within the BODi compensation plan. There's actually 9 different ways that you can earn income. And I don't want to get too deep into it on this call because it can actually get a little bit overwhelming and confusing because typically we're used to getting paid for the hours we work, and that's that. But with BODi, there's different opportunities within the plan. But the easiest ones to talk about is if you sell a package or a supplement, a bag of Shakeology, a tub of Energize, you're going to get a certain percentage of that sale in commissions. And our commissions range from about 20% up to 40%, depending on what you're selling. So the BOD memberships are, you get a bigger commission than, let's say, Shakeology. There's all different tiers there. So that's kind of the easiest one to explain. And the one that makes the most sense to everyone is you get paid for what you're selling and sharing with other people. But you can also earn income as people join you. That's called team volume. And that's how some more income grows along with your commissions. You can earn trips that Megan spoke about earlier. We have all of these different incentives all the time, which I have to say that was one of the things that I absolutely fell in love with. The incentives for me were so big. And I mean the dumb incentives, you guys, like a hat. Like I would do anything for a hat just because I never came from a bit. I was always the owner. So no one was incentivizing me, right? Like I was never getting celebrated for doing anything. So that piece of this business for me was like a game changer, being recognized for helping other people, being shouted out for actually like doing something. Maybe I helped 5 people in 1 week and they would shout me out. That like really, really propelled me because I'd never ever got that before. So earning those trips, earning the swag, you can earn books, like there's all different things. And then there's all different layers of the compensation plan, which we talk about a lot once you get going. So you can decide yourself, okay, what is my goal? Like, what is my goal for this? What should I be working towards? And we kind of break it down for you. So you have a very realistic viewpoint of how long something like this could take. Maybe you come in and say, Michelle, I want to create what you've created. Well, we're going to be really honest with you. We're going to tell you what the workload would look like, what you would need to do to really make that happen. And I think that's it. Like, I know that that's really brief and a brief overview, but hopefully, if you're listening to, I know lots of people are going to listen to this recording, reach out to your partner who invited you to listen. And I want you to ask them, what was their BODi story? Like Megan, we heard Megan's, you heard a little bit of mine. I want you to really hear theirs because everybody's is different. Everybody's goals are different. What they've achieved is different, and I want you to really lean into their story. And then if you do have specific questions, we can get them all answered for you. They can pass that along to Megan or I or whoever, and we can get the answers for you. And then hopefully we'll see you as a part of our community soon. I mean, this is the new year. And literally, I mean, this is pretty obvious, but it's the best time to join a health and wellness company because everybody's making their New Year's resolutions right now. This is our busiest time. So if there is a time to start, it is now because there's so many people actually looking for this kind of solution that we have. And my belief is we are such a well-rounded company that has decided to combine fitness, nutrition, and mindset. Because what we know for sure after all these years is you cannot succeed in those other two things if you don't have the right mindset. So that's what our platform offers, and everyone's looking for that right now. So thank you guys. Megan, do you have anything else? Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so, but I will end it just by saying this. I think if you're listening to this and you'll know if this isn't for you, right? Because you probably aren't listening anymore, to be honest. You would have been like, man, this isn't for me. So odds are something inside of you is like, oh wow, this could be really cool. Like, I don't know. That's your like nudge that you should do this. And I'm not saying that from a place of like, just sign up. Like, I just want to convince you. I'm saying that because sometimes we do just need that like gentle little nudge of like, just do it. This shouldn't be something that you hum and haw about for a very long time. This should be a pretty easy decision, you guys. Like, do you want to change your life? Do you want to earn more income? Do you want friendships and accountability for your health and fitness? If you answer yes, then just do it. You don't have a whole lot to lose, but you have so much to gain. So I find that sometimes as women, we like to stew and dwell and think and reflect. And then all of a sudden weeks have gone by and you're like, oh, I don't know what I was thinking doing that thing. if you want to do it, let's do it and let's get you started. Because 6 months from now, a year from now, you could be living a completely different life. And you'll be able to really look back and realize this was the moment that your life changed because you were open and willing to doing something that some people won't do. So,
Yeah. Awesome way to end. Thank you, Megan. And thank you, everybody, for being here and also listening to the recording. And we hope to see and welcome you into the community soon. Bye, guys.
bye.